Okay, thank you. So let me start the class. So yesterday we started our lecture on the ballast. Initially we saw what is ballast, what are the function, what are the requirements we expect from the ballast. Then we started discussing about the different types of material that we use in case of ballast. So the first materials that we have seen yesterday, sorry I forgot to share the slide. My plan is to finish the component of the ballast by the end of this class. So once I am done with the ballast, so I will share both the yesterday's slides and the lecture slide for this class. Okay. So my screen is visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the first material that we have seen was the broken stone. So we have seen that yesterday, the best ones, the stones that we normally see across India are the ones which are obtained from igneous rock. Okay, like granite, quartzite. Then there are there is something known as hard trap. So igneous rocks are very good for the high speed track. There are other materials as well. For example, sandstone and limestone. They are not the igneous rock. What kind of rocks they are? Anybody remember? What kind of rocks they are? Sedimentary or metamorphic? Sandstone and limestone both are sedimentary rocks. Okay, sandstone, as I said yesterday, that it is composed of material which ranges from sandstone particle and rock fragments. Okay. Whereas in case of limestone, you know that it will be consisting of the skeletal fragments of the marine organism. Okay. For example, the coral, the mollusk and other things. So it has been observed that broken stone, it is the best among all different types of material that we used, and it is most economical in the long run. Then second type that we discussed yesterday was sand. So we said that though the sand is historically used because of some of the good properties, for example, it is cheap, it provides good drainage, but we mainly use the coarse sand. Okay, and it has been mostly used for the places where we have cast iron pot slipper. So the drawback that we have discussed yesterday, that was the last point, that blowing effect due to vibration. So the train is moving with a high speed. So sands being very fine in nature, they will be blown away. Hey, please mute yourself. Okay. So they will be blown away. So as soon as the sand gets blown away with the vibration of the train, so it will be spreading across the whole track. So where they will be spreading, it will be spreading across the rail top, rail foot, other places. Now rail top is going to be critical because the wheel will be traveling on the top of them. So there will be excessive wear, the additional wear of the rail top, because the sands are there. So there is one medium between the wheel, the metal wheel and the metal rail. Okay, and at the same time, when the train will be moving, some portion of the sand will be getting stuck at the bottom part of the rolling stock. So now there are many moving part of a particular train vehicle. So when it will be getting stuck at different parts of the moving parts of a train, there will be extra friction and there will be additional wearing and tearing of the material. Then the third one that we have used historically is known as coal ash or cinder. So see a photo at this side which I have included in this particular slide. Okay, so coal ash. So what is coal ash? Any idea? What does it mean by coal ash? So it is basically, it is kind of waste which is left after coal is burned. So if you go to any thermal power plant or in case of railway engineering, earlier we had steam engine where we used to rely upon the coal for the movement of the train. So once the journey is over, the coal is almost finished, they used to dump that particular remaining portion, which is nothing but the left after coal is completely burned or combusted. So we used to put it in a pit. Okay, that is known as the coal ash. So we used coal ash in case of yards, siding. We will be seeing how these terms are different. Mainly, its most application has been in case of initial ballast in case of a new construction. So a new railway track is being constructed. So now you can understand that the best one, the broken stone, the igneous rock or sedimentary rock, whatever we are saying, at many places those will not be readily available. So initially we used the coal ash or cinder, which is available in the from the local industry, or maybe if you have a steam engine, steam engine railway track system, you can also have a supply of the coal ash. So we use them for the initial construction of the ballast. Those are cheap and easily available. Why they are cheap? Because they are waste material. So there is nobody to use them. So you can get them almost of no cost. But the thing is that if you look at the composition of the coal ash, you will be able to see there are many components which are very harmful in nature. For example, arsenic, there are lead, there are mercury, there are cadmium, which are uh, bad for or dangerous for human body. At the same time, now in case of railway track, it has been observed it is very much harmful to the steel slipper. This particular slipper, which I have written certain slipper, is basically the steel trough slipper. Okay, so it is very much having the harmful effect on the steel slipper as well as fastening, the one we used in order to fix the rail on the top of the slipper. So slipper is going to be affected, going to make corrosion. At the same time, fitting is going to be affected. At this, additionally, they are saying that it is also bad at the foot of the rail. So rail foot. So here. So this is also bad for this particular position. Okay. So there are many harmful effects because coal ash is having many dangerous material as a part of this component. Now this is a photo of an yard. So yard siding stations, they are different. They are having different meaning in terms of the scientific terminology. So what does it mean by station? First of all, okay, when we talked about the two different modes of road, the land transportation, we have seen that one column was related to rail, the other component was related to road, and we said that there are more resistances in case of road, there are flexibility, there are right of way, this, that. Now, in case of station, you know the station is one location where the passenger will be getting into the train. Okay, it is not like road transport that we can start or end our journey as per our wish. Okay, so it is a designated place where the train will be coming the passenger will be coming out, passenger will be boarding the train, and the train will again move. So station is a designated place, okay, where traffic is booked. So people are coming, people are going down. It means that people are booking the train or the traffic. Okay. And yes, the passenger will be dealt with, and the authority will be given to the train what time it is supposed to come and what time it is supposed to leave the station. Okay, so that is a railway station. Now what is yard? If you look at this particular photo, you can see that there are many lines here. You can see several lines. Okay, here you have some train vehicle which is nothing but rolling stock. It seems that there are some lines here, but this is one particular area designated for something else. What is that? It is nothing but here actually we have a number of railway tracks laid within a defined limit. So obviously it does not ranges like the railway track for larger distance from one station to another, for from one district to another, one station, one state to another, but it is for a within a designated limit. We can see multiple lines. Now why there is a requirement to set up certain yard? Because it will be receiving trains will be coming, they will be stored in some places, they will be sorted, they will be cleaned, they will be dismantled, or they will be assembled to come up with a new train which will be coming back to the normal railway track and ready for the next travel. Okay, so that is known as yard. Now the siding is a little bit different from the yard. So in this particular photo, if you look at this photo, you will be able to see that here we have a term called siding. This is passenger station where the passengers are coming. Okay, and this is called mail line. So trains are coming. This portion is known as siding. Here also I have given a photo. You can see that here is a train coming. There is one more train waiting. Okay, so any idea what does it mean by siding? So siding is basically a particular track where you have designated low speed. So low speed track section which is different from the running line or the through route. Okay, through which the train will be coming, or in some cases the train will not stop at that particular railway station, rather it will be continuously moving. So for a running line and through line or through route, with respect to that, sometimes we have a separate line where you can see lower speed. This particular low speed track section is known as siding. In case of single line train, when I was giving the example of West Bengal, telling that when I am coming from one station to another. Okay, now when there are certain instances, if we do not control the movement of one of the trains, there will be some cases where two trains will come in front of each other. So what do we do? At the station location, we have a particular line on the other side where one of the trains will be stopped, it will be waiting there for some time. Now when the train from the opposite direction comes at that particular station, the train which was waiting on the other line is nothing but the siding, again will start its journey. Okay, so those are related terms. Now sidings are not used for the normal movement of the trains, so that's why yard also you can see it is not used for the normal movement of the train. So in case of ballast material having coal ash or cinder, it is primarily used in the yards and siding. Okay, as well as in case of initial construction of the ballast. Okay, so these are all special circumstances. These are not used for the normal railway track. Now the next one is this photo you have probably seen yesterday. This is nothing but Moram. So Moram, as I was saying yesterday, it is decomposition of laterite soil. Now the speciality of the Moram is that it is reddish in nature, and now it can form hard surface when we go for the molding. So we use it for the construction of road, particularly in the rural places or huts. Now in case of railway track, we use as initial ballast in new construction as well as a sub ballast. So sub ballast we have seen earlier. So when the soil underneath or the formation level is bad, it has some unique property like black cotton soil which swell much. So drainage will be an issue. So we use it as a sub ballast. So the first photo that I have shown when we started discussing about the track, the permanent way and other things, you will be able to see that in that particular photo, there is a small layer which is known as sub ballast. Now, in addition to, please mute yourself. Yes. Now, in case of new construction also, we use Moram as an initial ballast. So both coal ash and Moram, they can be used as initial ballast for new construction. So blanket material on black cotton soil prevent water percolation. There are other materials as well, gravel, river pebbles, conker, brick ballast, etc. But their use are very limited. So there is much not information available from the book or internet. So I did not include those. But these are the four materials which have been used extensively. What are those four? One is broken stone, second one is sand, third one is coal ash or cinder, and fourth one is Moram. So these have been used extensively either for the normal track or initial construction of the new track or for use as a blanketing material. Okay. So again, one comparative table taken from the Satish Chandra book. Okay. So sand ballast. There are three different columns: pros, advantages, cons, and suitability, where it is best or for which kind of track or what is the special circumstances this particular type of ballast will come to our mind. So sand ballast, so good drainage, cheap, no noise produced on the track. Okay, so those are fine materials, so do not create any noise. Good packing material for cast iron slipper. So we have seen earlier also that it is mainly used for the cast iron slipper. So it has been observed that the packing is quite good if the ballast is CI slipper and the ballast is sand ballast. Disadvantages: excessive wear of the rail head, the rolling stock, blows up easily because those are lightweight. Poor retentivity of packing. The packing that we use underneath the ballast, that can get wasted very easily. So sand, no matter what kind of pressure you provide in order to make a level surface or you dump it under the ballast, but when the train will be moving with a very high speed, you can understand that it will not be able to retain the packing. So poor retentivity of packing. Track cannot be maintained to high standards. So at regular interval, you need to make sure that the packing is good. So it cannot be maintained to a very high standard, not suitable for high speed track. Mainly, it will be blowing off, it will be causing excessive wear, there will be packing related problem. High standard is not possible to be maintained, so cannot be used for the modern track. Moram, cheap if locally available. So where you have laterite soil, you will be able to see it in the local places. Prevents water from percolating, that we have seen yesterday. That's why it is extensively used for the construction of road, particularly in case of rural areas. Those are impervious in layer, provides good aesthetic. So you have uh, a layer of ballast which is reddish in nature. So sometimes people like that particular color. Very soft, turn into dust. Maintenance of track is difficult. Quality of track is average. So not as bad as the sand layer, but it is average. Maintenance of track is a little bit difficult because modem, yes, it become hard surface, but again over the time when high load, high speed is being observed, it is very soft, so it will become dust. So used as a sub ballast, as a blanketing material, as well as initial ballast for the new construction. Coal ash or cinder easily available on railways, though I would say this point is not very um, valid nowadays because we got rid of most of the steam engine, so where we have used coal. But from the thermal power station still we have certain supply because those are waste material, harmful for steel slipper that we have seen. For certain slipper it is bad, so it is harmful for steel slipper, normally used in case of yards and siding that you have seen through photos. There are some other points as well. So very cheap if it is available, good drainage, this is also fine, corrodes rail bottom and steel slipper, soft and easily pulverized. Anybody, what is the meaning of pulverized? What does it mean? So pulverized is basically a property of a particular material which can be reduced to fine particles. So cinder or coal ash, you have seen a photo, a grey color photo, ash color photo. So over the time you can expect that some of those pieces, those chunks will be reduced to fine particles. So that is nothing but the pulverization property. Maintenance is difficult, not fit for high speed railway tracks. Now here you can see this I have not discussed, but here it says that suitable for repairs of formation during flood and emergencies. This is actually one of the special use of the coal ash or the cinder. So when you have flood or emergencies, what happen? Most of the tracks they get washed away. Okay, so there will be stability related issue. Now, instead of bringing the materials from distant places, we use coal ash or cinder, which are readily available, comparatively cheap rate for the repair of the formation. So it is repair of the formation, the base layer, which is getting washed away. Broken stone or ballast. The first point, the first material that we have discussed, hard durable when procured from hard rocks, igneous rocks, good drainage properties, stable, provides both longitudinal and lateral stability, economical in long run, though initial cost is high. Because you need to have it from a place where you have rocks, or you have a plant where rocks are being broken into smaller pieces. So there will be cost of transportation. So initial cost is high, but economical in long run. So I was talking about life cycle cost analysis, remember, in one of the classes. So when you are going to use a very good material for the construction of a track or anything, any infrastructure. So sometimes looking at the initial cost may not be the solo thing you should focus upon. Rather, you need to see how it is going to serve the purpose for longer duration. So if we think about life cycle cost analysis, it has been observed that we do not have to bother much about the quality of the track, the superiority of those materials which is being used as a ballast layer for longer duration, for long period of time. Difficulty in procurement because you can get those from the mountains. Angular shape can injure wooden slipper. So angular shape, so some of the slipper will be resting upon those stones. Now when the wheel load is coming, huge amount of wheel load is coming, locomotive having 1000 ton weight, then rolling stock, each of them having a load of 25 to 30 ton is coming. So track is going down a little bit, deflection is going on. So sometimes the wooden slipper is going to be in touch with the corner surfaces of the ballast layer, the broken stone layer. So there can be some injury to the wooden slipper. So suitable for packing with track machines. So mechanized packing is required for broken stone and suitable for high speed track. So most of the modern tracks in most of the places in India, you will be able to see that they have used broken stone ballast. Now, what is the size of the ballast? When we say that broken stone is the best one, now you know from your knowledge of highway engineering that we need to know the size of the ballast as well. So it has been observed that in case of wooden slipper, they after several investigation, they prescribe a size of 2 inch or 5 centimeter in case of wooden slipper, whereas in case of metal slipper, they thought that the material of the slipper is of better quality, and so they decreased the size to 1.5 inch or to 4 centimeter. But later they found that it is very difficult to say that for wooden slipper it is 5, for the metal slipper is 4. So universally, in order to have uniformity, they said that we are going to use 5 centimeter of the ballast for all different sorts of slippers. Now, points and crossing, those are unique places. So we have seen photo of points and crossing. So this is point location, this is crossing location. Overall, it is known as turnout. So what about the size in case of points and crossing? Now we understood that points or crossing location are some unique location where there are many uniqueness associated with the track. Okay, that's why we have seen that wooden slipper is still used in case of bridges and points and crossing, because they can be cut as per our wish. So in case of ballast also, it has been observed that as these are the location where we have joints of junction of two rail sections, we need to make sure that they are being maintained properly, so higher degree of precision is maintained. So it has been observed that 2.5, which is smaller than 4 centimeter or 5 centimeter, is preferred because of its finer materials. Why? There can be slight adjustment that can be made. It can be compacted in a better way because those are of smaller size, and at the same time, being smaller in nature, it increases the frictional area of the ballast. So because of the three reasons, so adjustment is possible when you have slipper like this and slipper like that. In some places you need to put ballast. So it has been observed if the ballast stone is of smaller size, some adjustment can be made. Better compaction, so smaller size, when you go for manual or mechanical compaction, in case of smaller size, it is better to expect better compaction. And last one is smaller size, more frictional area, so increased frictional area of the ballast. Now best one, when we will say the best, any idea? When we have a combination. So we have stones varying from 1.9 centimeter to 5.1 centimeter. What is the reason? So if you have same size ballast, okay, and you have different size of ballast, so when we have different size of ballast, it has been observed that the kind of compaction of kind of stability that it will be providing, it is much better than having an uniform distribution of the stones. Okay, so when the stone is varying from 1.9 centimeter to 5.1 centimeter, it is the best one in terms of providing the stability. Now there is a table from Indian Railways website. So Indian Railway has certain specification in terms of the ballast size. So there are certain ship size you need to remember. So there is 65 millimeter square mesh ship, 40 millimeter square mesh ship, and 20 millimeter square mesh ship. They said that ballast should satisfy. It is not can, okay, or could. It is should. The following size and gradation. So one is for 65 millimeter, so which is comparatively larger. Okay, so it says maximum 5%. Then we have 40, the smaller one. Okay, it is between 40 to 60. Then 20, the smallest one. It says it is not less than 95 to 98%. When it is 95, when it is hand broken. So we have stones. There are laborers who are breaking the stone with the help of a hammer, or but it will take longer period of time. Sometimes they may not be in the proper shape. So nowadays we have started using machines. So in case of machine crushed, it should not be less than 98%. So we have stones which will be retained on this is maximum 5%. Some of them will be, the maximum portion will be retained on 40 millimeter, 40 to 60%, and the smallest one will be retained on 20 millimeter square mesh sieve, so 95 to 98%. Now when we will be saying it oversized, mean the ballast that we have, most of the particle size are larger. So if retained on 65 millimeter is greater than 5%. So when I am saying 5% max is the limit for the ballast, for the stone to be used as the ballast layer. So anything beyond 5 will be called as oversized. So if retained on 65 millimeter greater than 5 to 10%, we will call it oversized. If retained on 45 millimeter greater than 60%, again we will call it oversized. Okay. Now reject. When we reject it, if retained on 65 millimeter greater than 10%, so it is oversized, or I would say super oversized. More than 10% being retained on 65 millimeter square mesh shape. So we will reject that. There is one more point. What is that? When we will say that it is reject, when it is less than 40%. Okay, which I have not included in the slide. In case of 40 millimeter shape, we also reject it. So it is given from the on the railway website. So please cross check it and read it from there. Now when we have a ballast section, if we say we have to design the ballast layer, we need to talk about two things. One is depth of the ballast, which we have seen earlier in case of track modulus discussion. Now the other thing we should discuss is width of the ballast layer. How far we should go from the rail or from the end of the sleeper. What is that X amount? Is it 1 meter? Is it 3 meter? Is it 10 meter? Or it is less than 1 meter? And depth of ballast, first should be the depth of the ballast under the sleeper that we need to see. So width of the ballast layer, how much we should go laterally, horizontally. Okay, it has been observed that if we have laterally, hello, yes. So if we have ballast layer on the sides of the railway track, obviously it will be providing the lateral strength. So lateral strength depend on the quantity of the ballast that we are using at the end of the sleeper. So by the side of the sleeper, how much we are providing the ballast. Now it has been observed that it increases with the increase in width. So the more width we have, the more ballast layer we are using at the end of the sleeper, the lateral strength will automatically increase, but there is a limit. So after certain point, no matter you put more amount of ballast, it is not going to make any change, have no influence on the lateral stability of that particular track. Maybe it is providing more stability to the side track. So there is a limit beyond which no useful purpose is served. So it has been observed that this limit ranges from 38 centimeter to 43 centimeter from the end of sleeper. Now 38 to 43, that depends upon what kind of gauge you have, broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge. Okay, now Indian standards, Indian Railway says that we need to talk about width of the ballast and we need to talk about the depth of the ballast, but wait, width of the ballast should be defined as the foot level of the rail. Okay, let me go to the next photo. Okay, so you have a ballast layer like this. You know that there is a slope associated with it, 1.5 to 1. Now when we are telling at the from the end of the sleeper, now you can ask from here to where, up to this point or in the middle or where. So Indian Railway says no, at the foot of the rail. So rail foot is here. So at the foot of the rail, how much we should go from the end of the sleeper to this particular level. Okay, and sorry. And what about the depth of the ballast? It says below the depth of the ballast below sleeper. Okay. There are some ballast at the level of the sleeper, you know, that creep ballast. But when we talk about the design of the ballast, depth of the ballast, we need to talk about the depth of the ballast below the sleeper. So again, I am going to the next photo. So whenever we are telling some kind of thickness associated with the ballast layer, remember those values given in the track modulus table, 200 millimeter, 300 millimeter. So it does not mean that 200 or 300 is this one. Rather 200 or 300 is from the bottom portion of the sleeper. Okay, this is as per Indian standard. So in case of depth of ballast, this is the dimension we are looking for. In case of width of ballast, this is the dimension we are providing. Now depth of ballast under sleeper. Why we need to know that? Because load is being transmitted from the sleeper to the ballast. So it is one of the important factor in terms of load bearing as well as uniformity of the distribution of load. And we can understand that if we go for more depth, so more bearing capacity. Okay, we can say that the track is really stable. Now in case of a country like United States you probably know is having a shape of almost 2.5 times to almost 3 times of India. So India, if I superimpose India on the map of United States, so you'll be having a very small size. Okay. So now they have such a large country, but if you look at the ridership of the United States train, you will be able to see that United States trains are not very popular in terms of passenger transport. People do not like the train transportation. The reason is that those are expensive, though most of the coaches are luxury coaches. Mainly the people who are aged cannot drive much. They lost their physical ability. They have enough amount of bank balance, they take the train for the movement from one place to another. But normally, the train is used in the United States for the movement of the freight or the goods. Okay. Now, when you are transporting the goods, obviously your objective will be to maximize the the loading with respect to the cost. So that's why they have heavier amount of loading for each train. So in the United States, they follow one thing, that the depth of the ballast under the sleeper is going to be the sleeper spacing. Okay. Now when you have a train system which is mainly used for the movement of the freight, heavier load, automatically you expect that the sleeper will be placed close to each other. It means that sleeper spacing is comparatively smaller. So when you have sleeper spacing of smaller value, you can say that the depth of the ballast is going to be equal to sleeper spacing. But in case of India, as we do not rely upon the train transportation, in case of the freight transportation, we have larger sleeper spacing. Now, if we follow United States and say that sleeper spacing is equal to depth, it will be a thick layer of the ballast. Now, when we need the crushed stones or broken stone, which are from the igneous rock, expensive, we are saying initial cost is high, and we are saying that we need thicker layers, so obviously cost will increase, everything will increase. So that's why we do not follow the thumb rule or the rule which is existing in India, that depth is equal to sleeper spacing. Okay, in case of United States, it is possible because their sleeper spacing is comparatively less. That's why they can easily go for lower depth. But in case of India, it is not possible. So we do not do it. So what do we do? We have a formula. So very easy to remember. Minimum depth of ballast cushion. There are certain assumptions which are listed here. But before looking at these two, see the lines of equal pressure in ballast because of wheel loads are in the shape of a bulb. I believe all of you remember that when we talked about the pressure in the ballast layer or the ballast cushion, we have shown a photo where the shape of the pressure is distributed in the form of bulb. These ones we have discussed earlier. So this line says lines of equal pressure in the ballast because of wheel load are in the shape of bulb. So equal pressure line is being shown. So this is one line. So you can see this is 30% of the load which is coming. So one particular line is in the shape of a bulb. Okay, so which is given here. Now there are some simplified assumption. So in order to come up with the depth of the ballast, we say that load dispersion is assumed to be 45%. So though it is in the shape of a ballast, so we say that the load is being distributed with 45 degree to the vertical. And for uniform load distribution, uniformly load is being distributed on the formation. So the ballast layer should be such that this dispersion line, the line through which load is getting distributed, they do not overlap with each other. So what does it mean? So there was one simplified photo that I can show you. So you can see that this one as if those are the pressure bulb. Okay. Now we assume this one as 45 degree, and up to that point where these lines are not going to overlap each other. So rather this line and the other line where they are going to cut, we call it the desired depth that we need. So there is one simple formula they had adapted in order to come up with the minimum depth of the ballast cushion, which is evident here. So this is dB, this is dB. So the distance between the two slipper, not the slipper to slipper distance, center to center distance from one side of the slipper to the other side of the slipper, 2 dB. Or if I say slipper spacing is equal to 2 dB plus half of this width, half of the other width. So which is nothing but S is equal to 2 dB plus W by 2 plus W by 2. This is nothing but W. Okay, so in the simplified form, minimum depth of the ballast cushion is nothing but half of slipper spacing minus the width of the ballast. So slipper spacing minus the width of the ballast is coming, because this is W by 2, this is W by 2. Okay. So this is the simple equation which we need to follow. There is a small problem which you people can solve, or you can do it as a homework. So given data, wooden slipper on a broad gauge track. Okay, slipper density is given as M plus 7. So as it is broad gauge, it is 13 meter. M plus 7, 13 plus 7, slipper, 20 slipper. So 20 slippers for 13 meter length, 1 slipper for how much? You know the width of the slipper. So you fit the values, you know slipper spacing, you know width of the slipper, use a multiplication factor of 0.5, you will get the minimum depth of ballast cushion. Very simple. Okay. So this is the photo. Here you can see that it is given here, and this one is given along with this particular width. So we are saying that the width of the ballast is basically starting from this range to the other side of this, and at the level of the rail foot. Okay, not anywhere in the middle or at the bottom. This is how it is prescribed in case of Indian Railways. Then I am only left with 1 or 2 slides. So packing and boxing. Okay, so packing we have seen earlier. So what does it mean by boxing? Is it a sports? No. So what is packing? Earlier I have said that the compaction that we do in order to make sure that the voids are minimized in the ballast layer. But what is the formal definition? That I was trying to explain in terms of layman language. So packing is nothing but process of ramming on forcing ballast underneath slipper as per gradation. Okay, you have to remember this. We have not talked about this earlier. So forcing of ballast underneath slipper is as per the gradation. So you have been provided a list where you can see that these are the stone size which you need to lay at this particular track. So that is as per gradation. Now you need to do the ramming, consolidation, or forcing the ballast underneath the slipper. This process is known as packing. Now what is boxing? Okay, now underneath the slipper there will be ballast. At the same time there will be some ballast which will be side of the slipper and on the other outside the rail section as well. So process of filling ballast loosely around and between slipper and beyond ends of slipper to required shape of ballast cushion to provide lateral stability. So it is really long, but you can understand that these are the two rails. There are slippers. So we have talked about the ballast which will be coming under the slipper. That is going to come under packing. Now boxing loosely around or between slipper. So slipper के side में, ठीक है, in between the slipper and beyond the end of slipper, and those are done loosely. So this process is known as boxing. So process of filling ballast loosely around, between and end of slippers to provide shape of the ballast cushion. Now what does it mean by shape of the ballast cushion? Here we are trying to say the width of the ballast cushion. Okay, here actually we are trying to say the depth of the ballast cushion. So in case of packing, depth is relevant. In case of boxing, the width is relevant. So obviously, if the width is up to this, we will not go beyond that. Okay, so we will be loosely putting the stones here, but up to what point? The dimension which is given to us, which is known as the width of the ballast layer. Then dress the track neatly. मतलब ऐसे ना लगा कि जस्ट फेंक के चले गए. So dressing तो आपको करना पड़ेगा so that it looks nice. Then last one is related to the screening. So what does it mean by screening of the ballast? No matter what kind of material you use, even for the strongest material we use, over the time because of the wheel load, shock, vibration, even some because of the pressure that is coming through the slipper, some of the ballast stone they will be getting crushed or they will be becoming finer material. Now when it is becoming finer material, they will go underneath by adopting a small passage, the voids, and if it is becoming finer, sometimes they will be blocking the voids. Okay, so there will be issues. So because of the prolonged and repetitive wheel load movements, so ballast material get crushed. So ठीक है, get crushed तो क्या problem है? The problem is that they clogs voids. Now whenever they are clogging voids, the main issue that will be coming up is basically the drainage. The water which is supposed to go underneath and by using the slope, they get drained out on the sides. That will not be possible. So water will be getting accumulated in the track. Penetration of the ballast in the formation. Even some portion of the ballast which is getting crushed, becoming finer, they will go into the formation level. Blowing off of the ballast. The finer material which is not going underneath, which are lying on the top. Finer materials means they are just like a dry soil. So they will be getting blown away by the speed of the train. And last one is loss of ballast. So ballast is getting crushed, water is coming, some of the finer materials are getting washed away. Now there is wind coming, they are further getting washed away. So ballast layer which we have laid initially over the time, years after year, it is losing the materials, so which is detrimental. So that's why sometimes we need to get rid of these crushed components, the finer materials of the ballast. So what we have to do, as we are developing country, we do not have very educated labor. We have a very simple method, which is nothing but using a screener or the channi. Kaise? Just like this. Okay, so we have a supporting frame. We have the sieve on this side. So this is known as wear mesh. So we have the size listed here, that anything finer than this particular size will be coming here. So finer particles, they are getting dumped, they are getting accumulated at this particular portion, and anything beyond the minimum size will be retained on the top of this wear mesh. So we take the cleaner material, we leave the finer material here, and we use it again for the ballast layer. Okay, very easy screening of ballast. But again, when I will be showing you a video of the modern track lay method, you will be able to see how it is being done nowadays. Okay, so this is the end of the lecture. So